everyone, RogueGold here. Welcome back to the Division 2. Today, I've got a double upload for you because we just received the full patch notes for Year 8 Season 1.3, a new patch dropping in the Division 2 tomorrow. Now, you may have seen an additional news video drop earlier today. In that, we covered some of the main highlights of tomorrow's big update to the game, including the season finale mission, a new exotic, a new global event, a new hunter. That video is still nice if you want some of the high-level details, but what we just learned is that a full patch is coming alongside that with some surprising stuff. We got the confirmation of stretch goals, but we also learned about some buffs coming to select augments on prototype gear. They're fixing some pressing issues like the scope on the Agitator, so didn't want to leave you hanging without letting you know this news heading into tomorrow. That first video will be linked below, but for now, let's get to these patch notes. Before we do, as always, have to give a major shout out and thank you to our channel members. It is entirely thanks to your support that I'm able to put out these videos as often as I do, so thank you so much for all of your support. But alright, now let's get to it. So again, this patch drops tomorrow on Tuesday, May 26th. This is the time across various time zones when the servers will be going down, and as you can see right here, the estimated downtime is 5 hours. But once they're back live, we will have Year 8 Season 1.3. They say rise up stretch goals, climax mission, and fixes. Let's get to it. So a lot of people have been asking, do we know if stretch goals are coming back? Now we have the confirmation. They're set to begin on June 2nd and will be available until the end of the season. If we look at this graphic here, we can see that June 2nd, but then through June 16th. So is this confirmed the dates when we'll be getting Year 8 Season 2 and switching over to the next season? I guess so. But you can see a pretty nice graphic of all the rewards here. It is nice to see the cosmetic rewards ahead of time. This time, you can see there are 2 new backpacks, both the Timekeeper and the Time Saver. Then there's 3 different weapon skins and 3 different arm patches. So it says, once you have reached tier 100 of the season pass, this extension track becomes available. Pretty much the exact same structure as we're used to. This is a free addition to the season pass. You just need to be tier 100. Additionally, they're still using the standard rise up cache and the prestige cache setup this time. The prestige cache is given every time that you reach rank 10 of the extension, and it offers better drops at higher chances. So for the standard rise up cache, each one that you open has a high chance to give you a vanity item, which of course we just looked at. There's a moderate chance to get a rare named item. This is the full list right here. So notably the Lexington, the Stack Broker, the Turmoil, the Quick Step, and the First Bloom are in here in case you missed out on those from the Cherry Blossom event. Then similarly, we have a moderate chance to get seasonal or special exotics that includes the few that we're used to, but then also this season's Agitator and Investor. And then finally, rare drop chance to get an exclusive exotic, including the Regulus, Eagle Bear, all of those. I will say, if this is what you're going for, probably not that worth to go after stretch goals anymore now that these items are within the Retaliation Blueprints pool. You're going to have a lot fairer of a chance getting them through that method. Alright, and then again, we have the Prestige Cache, which you get at each rank 10 clear. So the Prestige Cache gets you guaranteed seasonal items and crafting materials, but then you get a guaranteed vanity drop, a guaranteed rare named item drop, a high chance to get one of the seasonal and special exotics, and then a moderate chance to get one of the exclusive ones. So that's everything on stretch goals, but keep in mind again that this will not be live tomorrow when the update begins. It is coming 1 week later on June 2nd, and it will then run for a full 2 weeks until June 16th. But keeping it rolling, let's then move on down to the climax mission. So again, we covered this and the exotic Whiplash pistol reward in this morning's video. I encourage you check it out if you want more information on that and the Brooklyn event stuff that is unlocking, which they do not cover in this article. But yeah, new climax mission for those of you who go out and complete all 3 scout HVTs. This is the pinnacle exotic reward from this new mission, and its talent, if you want to pause and read through the whole thing, is right here. Once again, we cover it in more detail in that video. As of this new patch and calendar refresh, they're adding 2 new surge events to the calendar. So beginning tomorrow and running through June 2nd, we have a gear set surge, and this makes it so that all gear set material drops from available sources will be doubled. And then beginning June 2nd, which is the same day as stretch goals, we have a 2-time season pass XP event. They note though that this is only applicable to your first 100 levels of the season pass to get to the point to engage with stretch goals, so it does not give you faster stretch goal progression, but all sources will be doubled as they highlight here: prio objectives, journey, projects, scouts, and all general activities. Alright, now we get to the improvements and fixes. Wasn't really expecting this one, but 4 of the augments that we can get on prototype gear have been pretty substantially buffed. So they say increase the scaling values for several prototype gear augments, those being Quantum, Amalgam, Anomaly, and Synthesia. This should happen retroactively, right? If you have these augments on your gear, whatever level they are at, they should automatically scale up to these new values. So if you want to use all of this math to convert your current properties and roles, you can, but what we really care about is here at the previous maximums. If you were to spec into any of these 4 at, 7 times over on your gear, these are the total maximums you could reach. But look at these new maximums. Quantum is going from about 20% up to 32. Amalgam is nearly doubling from 16 to 30. Anomaly is going from 32 or 33 to 196. I would assume that's a much needed buff because I don't actually even remember what Anomaly does, so it was probably in need of it. And now Synthesia going from 30 to 98. That's pretty insane. This is the one that reduces your active skill cooldowns. So if you spec into it all the way, pretty much every shot you fire will reduce your skill cooldowns. That's going to be quite good. So yeah, obviously this does not touch the current most picked augments of like Echo and Paradox. Well, I guess Amalgam is pretty heavily used. So anyway, these ones will now be higher and more attractive to roll. I'm quite interested to see what people do with that. Moving on, they talk a bit about escalation. They say escalation tokens will no longer reset to the end of each season. We did cover this in one of last week's dev stream recaps where they announced this change, but yeah, they say they pivoted from their original plan so that you can continue to get use out of your tokens. This one's interesting. They say that gear mod and skill mod targeted loot in escalation will now provide drops. So drops will use heroic level roll chances from tiers 0 to 4 and then legendary level roll chances from tier 5 onwards. I had a few quick DMs fire in this morning and people asking, does this mean that we can now get prototype mods? I don't believe that is what they're saying, but I believe that under the current escalation structure, because you cannot get prototype versions of these items whenever they came into the targeted loot rotation, it just meant that they didn't really apply. You didn't really get any benefit for running those. So now there is seemingly a potential benefit where if you want to run some of these high tier escalation rolls, you do have a better chance to get maxed out mod drops, which could be attractive for some. So yeah, at the very least, there is now a purpose to run targeted loot missions when it has these on a given day, and I'll be curious to see what those chances are really looking like. All right, under other here, they improved the matchmaking station menu in the base of ops and safe houses to make the retaliation matchmaking option easier to find. And then, no, what could it be? Field Proficiency Caches can now be opened without the hold animation. Oh my god, hands down, this is the best change of the entire patch. No, I'm being slightly sarcastic, but this is pretty incredible. Obviously, this is now the open all cache button that we've all requested. The devs have said apparently that is a bit more technically difficult to implement than we might think, but man, I hate getting field proficiency caches, especially when it's like 5 times XP events and they're just rolling in. So this should make opening those, getting rid of the loot that they contain much quicker, much easier. That's pretty sick. Hell yeah. All right, and then finally under fixes, we have a number of ones here. For those of you who ran into the issue where the echoes on the new classified assignments were counting in the collectible menu and then messing up your totals, that should be fixed. Some overly bright lighting that could appear in the summit on PS5 has been resolved. Conflicts between Escalade mission and open global events has been fixed. Apparently the busy little bee was granting higher than intended damage. That has been fixed up. The big Alejandro blueprint was not contained within the New York Kill Squad cache. That should now be there. This will likely be the biggest one for many. Fix the issue where aiming down sights with the Agitator exotic weapon could incorrectly force an in-scoped view. A lot of people had thought that that was an intended change that they did. It was not, and now should be resolved. Fix the issue where the master difficulty mission could fail to appear when switching between climax missions located in the same area. And somehow, in the 0.3 patch of the season, they fixed the issue where restarting the Library of Congress assignment after completing it could block mission progression by preventing a required door from opening. I know a lot of you had got blocked from running this mission because of that first yellow box that you run into. I'm not, I guess, 100% sure if that is the one they're referring to here, but yeah, progression blockers should always be highest priority fixes. So hopefully this didn't hold too many of you up for too long, but that has now been fixed. All right, and then finally they list one known issue. I believe this is in relation to tomorrow's corrosive shell global events that we are getting. It says enemy NPCs affected by regular fire from exploding canisters, weapons, or skills may not display the purple flame VFX or corrosion debuff icon even when corrosion is active. I think that's going to be a little bit frustrating, especially given status effects is the main way to combat the corrosive shield, because apparently if you use regular fire to fight them, it might then override the VFX to show that they have the shield on them, even the icon, apparently. So just keep that in mind. This could be quite annoying come tomorrow, but I guess we will find out. So there you have it, folks. That is a full list of changes coming to the Division 2 tomorrow with Year 8 Season 1.3, stretch goals next week, augment changes, the fact that we can now open field proficiencies instantly. My goodness, I still can't believe it. And the Agitator getting fixed up. A number of good things here. They do say to continue using the bug reporter feature. That is how they will continue to prioritize what fixes to put in the game. So links for everything down below, including the patch notes and the bug reporter. But yeah, folks, let me know your thoughts on this incoming patch. Anything that stands out to you, whether it be things included in here or things that you still think need to get fixed. Let me know. I'll be curious to hear your thoughts as always. And yeah, this should be the final video for the day. I will see you back bright and early tomorrow morning for all of the new things releasing. But until then, thank you so much for tuning into this one. And until I see you next, RogueGold. Ow. Oh! We just got a Ravenous! Haha! I might not be friendly. Let's go.
Coming to the Division 2.
Let's go!
And